Hello everyone, happy evening, a very good evening. I hope and I believe all of you are doing well. A quick note whether the audio visual is all good. Am I audible and visible, everyone? Okay. It might have got interrupted for a minute, I hope, but I'm back now. Okay, amazing. So happy evening everyone, a very good evening. I hope and I believe all of you are doing great. And today here we are to discuss how to crack FMG in 2 months. Why? Because now the FMG dates are declared. That is 4th of December is when we have FMG. We were expecting it to be on 17th of December. So what is the plan and whether it is possible, like, suddenly after the exam date is declared, many students wake up and realize that now we don't have much time. And if you start now, whether it's possible to crack the exam? Yes, it is. How to do it? That is what we are going to talk about in this session. All right. So everyone who's appearing for the FMG December 2022, please give me a thumbs up in the live chat so that I know how many of you are appearing for FMG December 2022. Right. So I'm going to tell you all the tips, all the strategies, what are the do's, what are the don'ts that you should be doing in these last 2 months. And trust me, if you follow them religiously, no one can stop you from cracking the FMG exam. And remember, I'll be waiting for you post-exam, post-results to share your success story with everyone. Right, so let's go here. Before that, I might forget later on, so let me tell you at the outset itself, like if you're looking for the best resource basically to prepare for your FMG exam, we are coming up with the last mile revision batch for FMG, which is going to start tomorrow on September 16th. So with September 16th, it also reminds me that tomorrow 9 p.m. we have a free live class on the Unacademy app as well, where this session will continue. If you have any more queries related to preparation strategy, you can reach out to me there tomorrow at 9 p.m. on the app. Along with that, we'll be discussing some MCQs with mnemonics. Basically, I'll be telling you the cheat codes on how you should be solving the MCQs, how basically exam mein tukka kaise marna hai, logically, how you should be ruling out the options. Because FMG exam, you don't have negative marking, right? So you have to attempt all. So that means you'll have to do some guesses or even many guesses in the exam. But wo karna kaisa hai? That's what I'm going to tell you in the tomorrow special class, right? So tomorrow, September 16th, we are starting with the last mile revision batch for FMG students, where everything in these 3 months, 2.5 months, all the 19 subjects will be covered. And I'll be also taking radiology in this particular batch for the FMG students. Apart from that, I'll be requesting the FMG students as well to join in for this extra edge batch. Basically, one subscription will give you access to all the batches, all the courses. So this is extra edge batch for everyone, where mnemonics, previous year questions, MCQ practice, everything will be done by me related to the important topics of all the 19 subjects. All right. Okay. So last 1 month scenario, let me tell you what you're going to face in this last 2 months, and more so in the last 1 month. How would you feel in the last 1 month? So tell me how many of you are already feeling this, or you feel that this is going to increase in the last 1 month. I'm sure there's not going to be any exception here, right? Everybody will start feeling, oh my God, whatever I'm reading, I am forgetting, right? The efforts it takes to learn, it's like climbing up the stairs like this, and the time it takes for forgetting whatever we have learned, It goes like this, right? Forgetting goes ekdam like a slide, but the efforts it takes to climb up to remember that, that's definitely more. How we can tackle this, we'll be seeing that as well. So if you feel that you are forgetting everything, give a pat on your back. Why? Because that means you are normal. Everybody, let me tell you who's going to be a topper as well, or who has been a topper in the past as well. Ask them and everybody will tell you that we have faced this, right? We have faced this thing. Okay. Video contrast too high. Genius, should I change it or chal jayega? ठीक है. Next one. Studies, my study. How does the accurate or the actual study chart looks like? Okay. How does it look like? Don't look at me whether I'm looking dark or I'm looking fair. The contrast has been changed so that you can see the slides better. Slides are more important to be seen. Okay. Okay. So the accurate study chart is basically like this. Major part, stressing about study. Itna sara padna, exam aa raha hai. Then we plan to study. Okay, so now let's plan to study. Then keep telling everybody, I need to study. If you are an intern or you are working, you tell your seniors ki padna hai. Fair, when your friend asks you, chalo, let's go out for a movie, bhul jate hain, we forget to study. And then when you actually sit to study, you avoid studies because for majority it's not very interesting. The actual time that we are studying out of this entire pie chart is this one. How many of you agree to this? The actual time that we are studying is basically this much. The rest of the time is either stressing about it or making the new timetables, then the next day making the new timetable again because we could not start the previous day, right? How many of you feel like that, right? I think majority of us, but now is the time that we need to change it. The majority of the time now has to go into studies. Okay, the majority of the time has to go into actually studying. So what to study, what to do, what not to do, we'll be talking about that. Okay? So what are the do's in these last 2 months? Do this and trust me, as I told you, that you will definitely clear the exam. Revise, revise and revise. Even if you are a student who's planning to start study from tomorrow, you get motivated by this session and you feel that chalo kal se padhte hain, abhi Nikita ma'am ne itna motivate kar diya hai. You have to start revising right from day 1. Okay, you have to start revising right from day 1 or rather day 2. So what you should be doing is when you are done with the day, let's say you finish your studies, let's say by 9 p.m, 10 a.m. Let's say you are finishing your studies, the study time by 9 p.m. What I would suggest is every day, maybe 7:30 to 9 p.m, the last 1.5 hour, keep dedicated for revision, right? So let's say tomorrow you are starting with some subject, you are studying something tomorrow. Try to revise it at the end of the day, whatever you have read in the entire day. Next day again, try to revise it. If you keep doing this, trust me, your confidence will build up very, very exponentially because it's scientifically proven the more the number of times you read, the better you will remember. So in the end, like, November 15th ke baad, you will not start panicking ki I'm not remembering anything, right? So the solution to not forgetting is revision. Obvious, but the most commonly done mistake, right? We think that chalo, we'll complete the 19 subjects first and then we'll come to revision. If you'll do that, trust me, it is you'll have to pay a heavy amount for that. So please don't do that. Revise, revise, revise. Even if you're not able to complete the daily target, like let's say you said that today I want to finish the subject of anesthesia. And if you're not able to do it, 7:30 p.m. if you have decided ki 7:30 to 9 I'll be revising, that has to be dedicated revision time. Even if you're not able to complete your daily target, please do it at the priority. Okay, please do it at the priority. Next, MCQ practice. I think 95% or I might say even 99% of the FMG students do this mistake. The majority of the students I talk to who are not able to clear the exam, majority of them have found that they run behind reading the notes and the theory. But don't have this misconception that if you read the notes or the theory, you'll be able to clear the exam. I would say it's the other way around. If you just practice MCQs and you don't read theory in detail, still you can crack the exam. Okay, very, very important, because MCQ practice is absolute to the success in these MCQ based exams. So what you should be actually doing is, whatever notes, whatever theory you are reading, do it from one platform. Whatever resource you are using, offline, online, do it from one resource. MCQ practice you can do from more than 1-2 resources, right? The more MCQs you practice, the better. Okay, the better. All right, next one. Not just PYQs, but the PYTs. What does that mean is, you just don't have to mug up, these are the previous year questions asked in the last 3 years or 5 years. Let's mug them up and these are what gonna be repeated in the exam. No, it's not the exact question that will be repeated, but 100% the topics are going to be repeated. So let's say there's a question on middle meningeal artery passes through which foramen. Okay. So if there's a question, middle meningeal artery passes through which foramen in the skull. Let's say this was a question asked in the last FMG exam, for example. So when you solve this question, you should know in and out about the various structures passing through the various foramina of the skull. Okay, this is what you should be knowing. So the most important is, this is how you should be gauging what are the important topics for my upcoming FMG exam. What can I expect in my upcoming FMG exam? So don't just mug up the PYQ, but do the PYTs as well. Middle meningeal artery, Leodoc, it's not rotundum. We have mnemonics for that. Okay, so this reminds me of this one thing because I've covered this in one of the NF100 episodes. So there is a series of sessions which I've taken that is called as NF100 episodes. Okay. NF100 is basically NEET PG FMG top 100 topics. We are through till episode 72. Make it a point that in these days, at least one NF100 every day you are doing, not just watching it passively, making notes out of it. Revise those 72 episodes, till now 72, it will increase here on as well. Revise those in the last few days. Trust me, you'll get a lot of questions from that. And you would enjoy watching those sessions because they are all like, learning made easy. It's learn with fun concept. It's based on mnemonics and easy tricks. So please watch those. Okay, please watch those. Very, very important. Next one, break time. Yes, very important. ऐसा नहीं है कि 2 महीने में exam है. So that means you are not supposed to take break. You are supposed to study 24/7. No, I don't want anybody of you to get into the burnout. Okay, I don't want anybody of you to get into burnout. If you are tired, if you are bored, take break, but please don't break down, right? So very, very important, take a break if you want to, but please don't break down and please don't quit, thinking that it's not happening. If you start feeling, if you start doubting yourself, this is not happening, trust me, the next exam, you're going to get the same feeling. You are never going to be prepared for the exam, no matter how much amount of time you are given, whether 2 months, whether 6 months, whether 1 year or 2 years. It's always the same. We have seen this like time and again. Okay. Right, so take breaks. Rather, what I would suggest, or I personally do it as well is, or I used to do when I study is, depending on how much is your concentration time, if you are studying for 50 minutes, the next 10 minutes, take a break. Study for next 50 minutes, take a 10 minutes break. In those 10 minutes break, maybe you can revise. If you do this, that's the best thing that you can do. In these 10 minutes, revise what you have learned in the last 50 minutes. Right, and then take extra 5 minutes break for just chilling around. Okay, so whatever. Okay, so take regular breaks, but most important, let these breaks be limited. If you have decided 10 minutes, so 10 minutes has to be 10 minutes break. Don't convert this into 50 study, 10 break, into 50 break and 10 minutes study. It should not be the vice versa. Okay, and the next one, time boxing. Okay, time boxing. What is time boxing? Let's say you are reading a subject and you are reading the subsystems in that. Let's say you are studying medicine. You have to complete medicine in 4 days. First thing that you should be doing before starting any subject is make a timetable. I have 4 days for medicine. What I will be completing on day 1, day 2, day 3 and day 4. Next, what you should be doing even in every day, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, time box. Let's say 7 to 9 a.m. I'm going to complete this system. 7 to 11 a.m. I'm going to complete cardiology. Then maybe I'll take a break half an hour and then I'll start with the next system. 11:30 to 2:30 I'll be completing GIT. So this is called as time boxing. If you don't do this, trust me, majority of us must be facing this कि day one पूरा हमारा cardiology में ही चले गया and we are not able to go to the next systems. So if you practice time boxing, right? So if you practice time boxing, you know that this is a limited amount of time that I have, and in that time I have to cover the maximum topics. Now how will you decide कि अभी मुझे 3 घंटे में अगर कार्डियोलॉजी खत्म करना है, so मुझे कैसे मालूम पड़ेगा कि these are the topics that I should be focusing on the first. So before starting any subject, first just have an overlook or make down a list of what topics have been asked in the recent years. Let's say there's a question in cardiology on mitral valve prolapse. That's an important topic. It becomes an important topic. There's a question on murmur. That becomes an important topic. Right? There's a question on infective endocarditis last to last year. That means it's a potential topic for your upcoming exam. So just write down. It will take some time, but that's the most important thing to be done, before actually studying for the subject. It's like if you want to cut the tree, spend the majority of the time in sharpening the axe so that you can cut the tree faster. That's the same concept here. If you want to finish medicine in 4 days, you need to know what are the topics that I need to study first, and you will get to know that only when you have a look at the previous year questions. At least 5 years are must. Okay, at least 3 to 5 years are must. All right. So that was about the do's. Let me just revise this with you. Revise. Then MCQ practice. Not just PYQs, but the related topics in details that you should be reading. Break time, take breaks, but don't break down, and time boxing. Okay, and time boxing. Right. Yes, Ramesh. So for that, we have to attend first PYQs. Absolutely. So before starting a subject, let's say, as I said, your target is medicine for the next 4 days. Even before starting to study, first have a look at the PYQs. Okay. So it will serve 2 purposes. One, you'll get to know what are the important topics. Second, you'll get to know how bad you are in that particular subject even before studying. Maybe you must have doubted yourself a lot, thinking कि नहीं medicine मेरा बहुत बुरा है. But when you solve the PYQs, you realize that maybe the questions asked are not very difficult, right? So PYQs can boost your confidence, or maybe if you are overconfident about a subject, it can tell you कि no, you need to work on this subject. ठीक है? Right. Now let's go to the next one, that is the don'ts. What you should not be doing in these last 2 months. Greed to read, right? कि मुझे सब कुछ पढ़ना है, ये भी पढ़ना है, ये coaching institute, offline, online, everything. I have to read the notes of all the platforms, then only I'd be able to clear the exam. Don't get into it. As I said, 1 resource notes, more than enough. More than 1 resource MCQ practice is what you need. Okay, if you fall into the greed to read, remind yourself of the session and remind yourself of Dr. Nikita, who's telling you that you don't need to read from multiple resources. Okay, same thing, don't get into FOMO. That is the fear of missing out. Let's say if your friend is attending classes somewhere and you feel that, oh my god, I'm missing on something if I'm not doing that. Again, don't get into it. Okay, don't get into it. All this has happened in the recent years, the FOMO and everything that has come because of digitization. But I think you are smart enough to decide what is actually helping you to improve the scores and what is not helping you to improve the scores. Okay. Next one, reducing sleep. Okay. Now that you realize that, oh, today I had to complete cardio, GIT, nephro from medicine, and I could only do cardio. So you decide that today I'll sleep less. If you sleep less today, you might be able to complete the target for today, but your entire tomorrow will be wasted, because I have faced it so many times myself. Getting bad headaches because of the sleep deprivation. You want to sleep the next day, but still you are not able to sleep. That is called as, in my language, perfect sleep deprivation syndrome. सोना है, नींद आ रही है लेकिन आ नहीं रही है. Right? So you go into that phase. Tell me how many of you have fallen into that trap? Headache हो रहा है, सोना है, नींद मतलब सोना है, my body, my mind needs sleep, but still I'm not able to sleep, right? You will face more of this in these last 2 months, because as the level of stress and anxiety will increase. So one practice that I can definitely recommend here, and I have recommended it before as well, you can search for Yoga Nidra, or it is called as NSDR, that is non-sleep deep rest in the technical terms. Yoga Nidra, the videos are available in Hindi, in English, so definitely practice that. It personally helps me, so that is why from my experience I'm telling you that it might help you as well. Okay? All right, next one, stressing out. Easier said than done, ki don't stress out. I know that when you have a very important exam like this, which decides your further course of life, you are bound to stress out. Thoda amount of stress which increases your productivity is good. But if that stress is going above that threshold which is decreasing your productivity, then that's harmful. So tell yourself, I know that this exam is important, but at the same time, this is not the end of the world, or this is not the end of my life, right? So please don't get stressed out. Just be true to yourself, be honest to yourself. Your only mantra on a daily basis has to be that I am giving my best. Okay, I am giving my best on every single day. Okay, and also let me tell you, not all days are the same. Okay, wasted whole day because yesterday didn't sleep. Yes, absolutely, this is gonna happen. So you get into this vicious cycle, be it stress, be it sleep deprivation, and then you see a lot of hangovers as well with those, right? So please don't do that. Okay, next one, doubting yourself. Again, easier said than done. Who does not doubt himself or herself, even if that person will then emerge as a topper in the upcoming exam? But doubt तो सबको आता है कि नहीं होने वाला है, ठीक है? When you start doubting yourself, tell yourself, if so many people on the earth could clear this exam who have the same amount of time that I have, then why can't I? Even I can and I will. Visualize yourself passing this exam, like this being the last FMG exam that you are giving, the last attempt, and visualize yourself, your interview, your story being shared with everyone. Dr. Nikita taking your interview. So visualize that, that should motivate you. Okay. Or सबसे last, quit. Please don't quit. Okay. So as says this poem, or as says this quote, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the roads you are trudging seems all uphill, okay, take a rest, take a break if you want, but please don't quit. Okay, please don't quit. As I told you that you will never ever be prepared for the exam. So never ever quit. Jitni mehnat abhi ki hai, it's like, let's say there's a 10 kilometers ka race. And at the 5 kilometers, 6 kilometers point, I feel that, oh my God, I'm tired. I cannot go ahead, and then I come back. I forget that it was just more 4 kilometers rather than this 6 kilometers that I have to go back, right? So remember that you are just at your success point when you are planning to quit. Okay, always remember that. Okay? All right, next one. Now some important tips and tricks. If you have started doubting yourself, okay, if you have started doubting yourself, remember that attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. It's a very, very small thing, right? But that's the most important thing that you require in this preparation phase. The right attitude, the right thought. It all starts with a single thought that I can and I will, rather than I cannot. Okay, just change your attitude, change your mindset, and you will see the change in yourself. Okay. Next, if there seems to be no hope, you are like, 3 attempts, 4 attempts, I've already given so many attempts. I don't think I'll be able to do it. So if there's someone like that in the audience who feels that there's no hope that I can clear this exam, honestly, I'll tell you, I have talked to one of the students who has given the exam 7 times, right? And if you think that there is no hope, then remember that most of the important things in the world have been accomplished by people who have kept on trying when there seemed to be no hope at all. So basically, don't quit. Majority of the things you'll see that so many attempts, Edison ko itne sare attempts lage, 10,000 attempts lage to invent that electric bulb. If he would have quit, we would not have had an electric bulb, right? So if when someone asked Edison ki bhai itne sare, what did you, you failed so many times. He said, I did not fail. I only learned, what are the 9,999, the ways that the bulb cannot be invented. So remember that every failure is a lesson. Learn out of it, grow out of it, rather than just sitting over it and crying over it. Okay. Next, and so be willing to do what's hard now to enjoy what's beautiful later. So definitely, this is a very important milestone. So make sure you are ready to put in all the efforts. If you are not scoring good in the grand test, what do you need to remember? Remember that failure is not the opposite of success, it's a part of success. Failure in this GTs, low scores in the grand test does not mean that you will not succeed in the final exam. It just means that these are your weak areas, these are your weak subjects. So you're basically learning out of it that for my final exam, what are the subjects, what are the topics that I would be, I should be focusing on. Okay, I should be focusing on. Next one. If you have backlogs, absolutely, who does not have backlogs, right? So if you have backlogs, remember that you are not the only one, right? You might not be equally good at all of the topics that you need to know, and that is nothing to worry about. Why? Because everybody else is in the same boat. Even if, you ask a topper, even they'll be crying कि मुझे ये नहीं आता, मुझे वो नहीं आता, I'm not able to study. So remember, you are not alone. Everybody is in the same boat. You are not the only one who has the backlogs. Okay. If you are not able to devise a timetable, now comes the most important part. What to do and how to make a timetable in this, then follow this timetable. So basically, approximately you have 79 days for FMG. If I remove 4 days as well, 75 days, what you can do is, in these 75 days, plan at least 2 reads. 50 days and the half of it, 25 days. I am giving you a plan for this 50 days. So this is basically the plan, 50 days plan. If you do the sum of all of this, this is what amounts to 50 days. I have put the subjects also like related. Anat, ortho, ENT, ophthal, the surgical subjects, physio, pharmac, medicine, pediatrics, the medical subjects, surgery, pathology, OBGY, radiology. Then you have the other subjects like which are not, interrelated. So this is the timetable that you can follow. I have given you the number of days. Anatomy ko 4 din do, ortho ko 2 din do. You can customize this timetable as you want. Okay, you can customize this timetable as you want. You can shift the subjects here and there. Maybe you can increase a day, decrease a day based on what are your strong subjects, what are your weak subjects. Let's say that for me, anatomy is a strong subject. Rather than 4, I'll give it 3. But physiology is my weak subject. Rather than 3, I'll give it 4. So, you can just shift it here and there and make or plan, devise your own timetable. But make sure you are following it. Otherwise, later you will start panicking. Okay. If you are a dropper, right, before that I come to this, in this timetable, whatever timetable you are following, as I said, make sure that when you are going to ortho from anatomy, you are not forgetting anatomy. When you are going to ENT, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि भाई anatomy और ortho भूल गए. So it should not, रात गई बात गई वाला formula यहाँ apply नहीं होता है पढ़ाई में. So रात गई और better याद हुआ. This is what it should be here. So make sure that you are retaining whatever you are reading. No examiner in FMGE NEET PG INICT is going to ask you Harrison's पढ़ के आई कि नहीं, Bailey Love पढ़ के आई कि नहीं. Nobody is going to ask you that. What is more important is actually scoring in those 3 hours and 3.5 hours. ठीक है? Alright, so Dr. Dopamine, revision timetable, as I said, 25 days if you are doing, this is 50 days, just make the half of it. Okay, that's the same timetable when you will be doing into 25 days, 50 ka you just have to do the half. So anatomy instead of 4, make 2, orthopedics make 1, ENT 1, ophthal 1, physiology do it in 1.5 day basically. So make the half of whatever timetable I have given here for those 25 days revision. Okay, 25 days revision. All right. Next one, if you are a dropper, okay, if you are a dropper, remember that I love this, so I'm sharing it here. It is someone graduated at 21 but waited for 6 years to get a good job. Someone had no education but was a millionaire at 21. Someone got married at 20 but got divorced 5 years later. Someone got married at 30 but found everlasting love. So you are not late, you are not early, you are on your time, on your destined time. Everybody's destiny is different. If your friend has cleared the FMG exam in first attempt and you are not able to do it in third or even fourth attempt, that does not mean that you are doomed, right? You are on your own time zone. इंडिया का टाइम जोन अलग है, यूएस का अलग है, यूके का अलग है, कोई आगे पीछे नहीं है एक दूसरे से, राइट? सबका टाइम जोन अलग है और अपना टाइम आएगा, आज नहीं तो कल अपना टाइम आएगा. Keep saying that to yourself, okay? Keep saying that to yourself, okay? Next one, what you need to just remember is keep moving forward and never ever give up. If you give up, you are out of the game. If you are there on the ground playing, there are chances that you will win the match. But if you leave the ground, if you quit, that means you have already lost the game, right? So remember that. What should be your everyday mantra in these last days? It's basically that nothing comes easy, nothing comes overnight. And you may not be where you want to be for weeks, for months, or even for years. But eventually, you will be where you want to be. The most important thing that I want to highlight, if you don't give up. And trust me, the wait is worth it, okay? You will smile at yourself for waiting it out through some seriously hard and unsatisfying times that you must be going through now. More than anyone else, you will be proud of yourself, right? Most important, after the results, you clear this exam and you will be proud of yourself more than anybody else, right? So very, very important. And finally, okay, finally, remember that your success can be delayed, but it cannot be denied. Like I said, आज नहीं तो कल success तो मिलने वाला है. ऐसा नहीं है कि success नहीं मिलेगा. कल मिलेगा, शायद आज नहीं तो कल, कल नहीं तो परसों, परसों नहीं तो बरसों, कभी ना कभी तो success मिलेगा. So it can be delayed, but it cannot be denied. But there are terms and conditions. What are the terms and conditions? If your vision is clear and you have the fire in your heart to achieve it, you are ready to make those efforts to achieve it. Like I said, nothing comes easy in life. You have to work hard for it. Maybe 1 attempt, 2 attempts, 3 attempts, 10 attempts, whatever it might be, you should not be giving up, right? So that is when this applies, this scheme, this offer applies, that is, your success can be delayed, but it cannot be denied. Okay, that is when it basically applies, right? So a reminder, I'll try my best to help you in your journey of cracking this FMG exam. Whatever are the important topics from the various subjects that you need to read, I'll be catering to it in this plus course as well, which is the extra edge batch. Right now we have the mnemonics going on. Tomorrow 12 p.m. we have the next class, that is 12 noon. We have orthopedics and mnemonics. Fun, amazing class that is in store for each one of you. A lot of tricks to remember the various fracture classifications, the splints, the named fractures and whatnot, the difficult list in orthopedics, right? So if you need to subscribe, you have the ongoing offer, which is only till tomorrow, unlock 20. You can use the code Dr. Nikita for the same while you are subscribing. Okay, so unlock 20. So if you use the code Dr. Nikita, you get 20% off while subscribing instead of 10%. And for FMG students, we have a dedicated last mile revision batch also starting from tomorrow. The first class 9 p.m. I'll give you an orientation into how to actually solve the MCQs. It's a special class, free live class. All of you can attend at 9 p.m. on the Unacademy app. Acha. So tell me any queries here. Vaibhav, how to improve the GT scores? The commonly asked question. See, out of every GT, analyze whether there is a subject which is consistently coming in your lowest 3 subjects. Let's say in the GTs that you have given so far, physiology has always been the lowest or the weakest. That means you need to work on that subject, right? Second, after every grand test, try to analyze. Let's say out of 300 questions, I got 180 correct and 120 wrong. In those 120 wrong, okay, in those 120 wrong, what kind of mistakes did I make? Or I made mistakes in what kind of questions? Was it silly mistakes कि मुझे पता था but panic हो गया या time कम है करके हमने गलत mark किया? Was it a concept based question that I have made wrong? Or is it a memory based question that I have made wrong? It was just fact based, only because I did not revise, I didn't remember. So once you categorize, you get to see after every GT key, let's say कि concept based questions में I'm making a lot of mistakes. That means I need to go back to the foundation and make my concept strong. If it's a silly mistake, that means I need to practice more MCQs so that even when the time is less in the exam hall, I don't get panicked. If it is fact-based questions, that means I need more frequent revisions, right? So basically GT is not just meant कि हाँ 3 घंटे 3.5 घंटे बैठो. It is meant to learn कि which are your weak subjects, which type of questions are your weak questions, fact-based, conceptual, or you are making silly mistakes. Okay, just do that. Yes, Mayur, please tell me what is your question. So I hope this session has helped you, at least it has motivated you to be preparing for the exam, whether you are a FMG student or a NEET PG or a INICT candidate or otherwise as well, student from any field. If your vision is clear, basically why you are studying. If you have that bigger vision कि मैं क्यों कर रही हूँ या क्यों कर रहा हूँ, automatically the how of it will become clear. Okay, so I'm hoping to see you all in the 12 p.m. plus class tomorrow. If you have not subscribed, make sure you do it because it's gonna definitely help you for sure. That's my assurance. And if not, I'll be still seeing you in the YouTube live classes, in the free live special classes. I'll be still available to answer your queries, be it whatever. We can stay connected on the Telegram group as well. Okay? Mayur, after watching video lectures and revising notes, when I try to solve question banks, I don't get satisfying marks. Practice more questions, okay? Because MCQs are actually the ones which help us realize that how questions can be framed on a particular topic, which we might have not even imagined. So I would say that practice questions, whatever topic you are reading, uske saath mein, immediately after that, solve its MCQs. And now, since you are appearing for the exam next year, like you said, you have enough time. So practice MCQs from multiple resources. Either you can get the guidebooks, which give you good collection of questions. I personally recommend that. Or you can take any other online platform as well. Okay? Yeah, Leo, how to focus on studies. If you are not focusing on studies, tell me then on what you are focusing. That tells me that what is important in your life right now. If you are not able to focus on studies, that means that you have not realized the importance of it, or the time ka crunch that we have. Don't be under that misconception कि बहुत time है, आराम से बाद में पढ़ेंगे. How these 2 months will pass away, you will never realize. And personally, I don't want any one of you to study for next 6 months again. I want to meet you, but for the NEET PG exam, not for the FMG exam. Okay? Yes, absolutely. Social media, a double-edged sword. Use apps which increase your productivity, which lock your various apps, which don't allow you to open those apps, or it takes a lot of efforts to open those social media app. Okay, use those productivity apps basically. So automatically, you will not be using your phones. Okay? So I hope this has helped you. I've answered majority of your questions. Let's stay connected and let's crack this exam together. It is possible. You can, you will, and we will together crack it. So this was on the new YouTube channel, Desi Doctor Abroad, which is all about, helping the students who are pursuing their MBBS abroad, or who want to pursue MBBS abroad, or who want to give USMLE or even residency abroad. So this channel is dedicated to that. So if I have FMG aspirants here, make sure you subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon is on, because you'll see a lot of sessions which will be coming up in these last 2 months to help you for the FMG exam. All right. So thank you so much everyone for joining in, and goodbye. Take care. Keep studying, keep revising, and keep winning. Thank you so much.